Good morning, brothers and sisters. I will start with a direct apology. I know I said I would shoot this video in Vegas. If I explained to you how busy Vegas became, I'm not sure you'd believe me unless you're one of the ones who was there and you know just how busy I was. You also know that I spent the entire week in a sling. I actually should probably have it on right now. Don't tell my doctor, who I'm actually leaving to go see here in a bit, and hopefully taking the sling off permanently. For those of you who have no clue what I'm talking about, the end of July, I dislocated my shoulder at a hockey referee clinic. Got the shoulder reset, went to work, everything was great. And then the next Sunday night into Monday morning, middle of the night, I apparently, according to my ortho, I dislocated the shoulder and relocated it. I don't know if that's how you say that. Anyway, it slammed back into place in my sleep, woke me up in an amount of pain that I did not thoroughly understand was capable of happening. Anyway, MRI shows a labrum tear and an impact fracture of the humerus from when it slammed back into the shoulder socket. So I have subsequently been in a sling for 2 straight weeks, to include while I'm sleeping. And everything that I did in Vegas. So even while I was in a suit. Anyway, that's my story. It was terrible. Wearing a suit and a sling at the same time, not something I recommend. Definitely made things more difficult than you would anticipate for just sitting at a conference. But, all right, having said that, this video I want to explain real quickly because we're already almost 2 minutes into this and I haven't said what I'm doing. This video is what I'm going to present as my state president national conference report, so it's going to be brief. I'm not going to delve into everything that took place. That video I will do as your national trustee. I will do a national trustee video this coming weekend. I will also do a national trustee written report of conference because there are some things that took place that I'm not going to put on YouTube. But I do want you to have the information, and I do want to disseminate it to everybody so that you guys have the information for those of you who couldn't join us. Now, for those of you who joined us, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Our delegation killed it. Those of you who weren't able to attend, when you see the guys you know and gals that you know you sent out there to Vegas, pat them on the back, man, because they did one heck of a job. At no point did I see the Arizona delegation not strong in attendance. And when I say strong, 116 delegates is what we had at our national conference. That puts us easily into the top 10 of delegations from the country. So, mad props to my Arizona delegation. You guys seriously killed it. I'm so proud of our delegation and how good of a job everybody did. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It is truly an honor for me to serve as both your state president and national trustee because of the work you guys do. When I get to walk into those national trustee board meetings and people are commenting on the fact that the state of Arizona was so strong on the floor. So that is a credit to you guys, not to me. I don't do anything. I just represent you in that room, and I am honored to do so. So thank you again so much. I will also throw out a quick little shout out to all the delegates. I will tell you, that's the first conference in quite some time where every time I looked back, I never questioned where everyone was. Other than during elections, the floor was almost empty during elections. But other than that, it was packed. We had just over, if you count the alternates, it was just over 4,000 delegates in Vegas. So super impressive, super big, great turnout, and we got a lot of really great work done for the order. So, like I said, I'll get into that in the National Trustees Board meeting. But as your state president, there's just a few things I want to touch on before I let you go about your week. The first thing I want to touch on, they kind of harped on it during the entirety of conference. From the sounds of it, it didn't resonate as much as they had hoped, which unfortunately doesn't surprise me, but I'm going to try and resonate it to my state. I know you guys are amazing, and I know we can make a difference. So what I'm talking about is the National Foundation, our National PAC Fund, and the Arizona State Foundation. And then I'm also going to tack on the Arizona PAC Fund, okay? Simply put, our national PAC and even our state PAC, they should have more money in them. We should be doing more on the political front. And if you look at the political world, what drives politicians? I know one of them's my sister. Unless I'm paying for lunch, she doesn't go. That's actually not true. I totally made that up, just in case she's watching. She always pays when we're in DC. I try and pay when she's here in Tucson, but Anyway, so one of the things that they did through National FOP is they did the 555 program. You can see it kind of there on the side of the screen. What that is, it's $5 to the National Foundation, $5 to the National PAC, and then $5 to the State Foundation, and you set up for that to be given monthly. Okay, I'm going to challenge you to also tack on another $5 that you assign directly to the Arizona PAC. Okay, with the Arizona, if you do that, that's $20 a month. Okay, but I'm only going to. Remember, Marine Corps, cop. You don't want to know how great Flowing Wells education was, so my math skills are very limited. But if even half of you gave $5 every month to our state PAC, it would put us in the realm of $250,000 a year going to that PAC fund. So that's all I'm asking for, okay? I've already dedicated myself. I've already promised National that I am going to sign up for the 555. I'm also going to sign up for $5 a month to the state PAC because it's the right thing to do. It's the way we get things done and accomplished. And the stronger we are there, the better off we'll be moving forward in the future. The other amazing news that I want to touch on, hold on one second, let me pull it up here, is our membership. Our national membership, as announced, has once again grown. And we are officially over 373,000 members nationwide. All because of you guys. I know you're out there. Hitting the streets. You're telling everybody what all the good work that FOP is doing, and I appreciate it. Share that stuff on your social media. If you're not following National FOP on social media, get on that. Hit that share button. Hit the like button. Get the attention out there because it's working. We are so close to having half of all of law enforcement be FOP members, and as our re-elected vice president repeated multiple times, his only goal is to have all of law enforcement fall under the FOP umbrella. And I do think it's achievable. I think it's something we can do, but it takes all of us. So all hands on deck. Let's get that done. So the last thing I'm going to harp on you about money, National FOP has released a history book. Our historical committee did an amazing job with this book. It is not all just for all my fellow Marines out there. There are pictures in here too, so you can get away with just eating some crayons sometimes. You don't have to do it the whole time. All right, and the entirety of the written words is 137 pages. I haven't had the opportunity to read it yet. I bought one the very first day that they were available. They aren't available on the webpage yet. I just checked this morning. They're not quite available yet. They will be. Remember, everyone's still getting back from Vegas, so that's still happening. So real quick, I'll touch on the national board, and then I'm going to tell you about my amazing return trip home from Las Vegas because it was fantastic. No, it really wasn't. So your president for 2023 to 2025 is Patrick Yost. He ran unopposed, and it's super proud to have him represent us again. Your vice president, my man, Little Joe. Yep, I got one of them. It's his Elvis rendition of his bobblehead. It's awesome. Joe Grimaldi did have an opponent. Michael Cantanzaro out of Lodge 7 in Chicago ran for vice president. And Joe Grimaldi was successful in his re-election bid and will remain as our national vice president. Your secretary is Jimmy Holderfield. He ran unopposed. Your treasurer is James Smallwood, also ran unopposed. And then we had two members, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention them separately and distinctively. Our second vice president, Steve Weiler, had some opportunities come up in his life. I talked to him face to face because I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't. He had some opportunities come up that are good for him, good for his family, and he chose to step down and not seek re-election as second vice president. So best of wishes to you, Steve. Thank you for your service on the national board. Truly appreciate it, and you will be missed. I know we'll still see you around, but it won't be the same. So taking his place was one of our brothers from Philadelphia, John Hoyt. Great guy. I haven't had the opportunity to really get to know him yet. I'm excited to do that. He seems level-headed, and that I think it's going to work out well for the board. Also, after 6 years of service as our National Sergeant at Arms, Keith Turney chose not to seek re-election. Brother Turney, I've only been on the national board for 3 years now, but you immediately grabbed at me. We're happy to answer any questions I had. We're happy to be ready to do whatever it is I needed from you, and I truly appreciate it. It's tough when you're the new guy on the block, but when you have such amazing leaders, such as yourself, who jump up and welcome you with open arms, it's something I've tried to emulate within my own state, and I appreciate your 6 years of service to the national board. You will definitely be missed, and I wish you nothing but the best moving forward. So taking his place as Sergeant at Arms is a very good friend of mine, a guy that I truly, truly admire, a guy that instantly put his arm over my shoulders and showed me the way on the national board. And that's the former national trustee from California, Steve James. Great guy. He's going to be amazing on the national board. I am so excited for our national executive board. I hope you all are as well. I will also tell you we had what I believe, and I may not be correct here. I'm sure some of you older guys who have been around longer than me are going to correct me here. But we had a massive turnover in the Board of Trustees. There's still a debate on the number. Everyone says it's either 12 or 14, but then I reminded them that I took Brother Egan's place, so that's not 14. So I believe we had 13 new national trustees. That's how much turnover we had within the states. So I'm excited, man. It's going to be fun moving forward. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Speaking of which, our next national board meeting, the one where we actually get together, nobody wants to watch the videos other than me, who has to be there. But the next in-person national state president's national board meeting will be in March. We're not 100% sure when yet, but it will be in March, and it'll be either San Diego or Long Beach. The reason I'm mentioning that as your state president, obviously it is not in the state budget for me to send people to these meetings. However, I want to make sure you're aware that you are welcome. You won't have voice in the national board meeting, but you're more than welcome to sit in and watch what happens, and that way you're not just relying on me to report it. You're more than welcome to see it for yourself and report it back to your membership. So if your lodge has the means and the capability of sending you, just shoot me an email. 100%, I'll be okay with that. The other one that we are doing in the spring is we're going to St. Louis for the Western States Coalition. With that one, Arizona actually has 3 seats that we can fill at that conference. Obviously, I'm one of them, but I still have 2 openings. And so, if your lodge is willing to send you to St. Louis in the spring, we don't have dates yet, but it'll probably be late March, early April. If your delegation, your lodge is willing to send you, I think I've told you guys this before, but please join me there and be a voice in the Western States Coalition and meet these board members and get excited about what we're doing on the national level, and with the Western States. The more blood I get in there, the more the blood boils. The more you send that home, the more you go back and you tell all your people, oh my gosh, that we did this, and this. So if your lodge is capable of sending you and you want to go, just shoot me an email. I have no issues with that. The other one I want to mention to you, Leadership Matters should be, if it's not already open for registration, it should be very soon, like today, tomorrow. Leadership Matters should open. I would also tack in the Wellness Summit because it's the same 6-day block. So if you're going to go for one of the summits, you might as well stick around for the other one. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Leadership Matters is the best training seminar that I've ever been to, and that includes a bunch of my national level canine seminars. That includes any training I've done here in Tucson. It is a phenomenal training, and I highly recommend everybody, if you can, to get to Nashville to attend those seminars. I haven't had the opportunity to do the Wellness Summit yet. I certainly am hoping to pull that off this year. We'll see. There are a lot of moving pieces going on at the beginning of 2024, so I'm not 100% certain that I'll be able to make those this year. But I'm trying to. We'll see what happens. All right, so Vegas, on Friday, we had the post-conference board meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning. We did not get out of there until just after 10 o'clock. I got back up to my room. Fortunately, the First Lady had finished all the packing, so I just had to change real quickly. And we had already made the decision that we were just going to head straight to the airport. Our flight was leaving at 2:20 in the afternoon, so we figured might as well just go straight to the airport. Checkout was at 11. Go straight to the airport, have lunch, relax, get on the plane, come home. So we get to the airport. We're standing there at our gate. We had lunch, obviously. We're standing at our gate, and all of a sudden, I'm looking at the TV screen, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's not the flight to San Diego. Because we were actually flying from Vegas to San Diego and then to Tucson. It was the cheapest flight. I try and be fiscally responsible and save your guys' money, so we don't mind the connecting flights. So I'm like, okay. So I pull up the app, and it says that now we're at gate 2 instead of gate 1. I'm like, oh, okay. So we moved 10 feet, and we're standing at gate 2. I noticed that the door to the runway is closed, and then after a while, the lady at the ticket counter comes on the PA system and announces that our flight is delayed because they're repairing some seats, but it should only be a few minutes. Literally an hour plus goes by before they finally allow us to board. We get on the plane, and as soon as they closed the doors, the pilot comes on the PA and says, there's a storm headed to Las Vegas. If we can't get out before it, we're going to sit here until it passes. Yeah, so that happened. The storm hit. We did not get out. So we sat there in the plane for about another hour. Then we actually started to move. And I'm like, okay, at least we got movement. Well, then the storm changed directions. They decided planes needed to go to the other side of the airport, all this other craziness. So by the time we took off from Las Vegas, our connecting flight in San Diego was boarding. So I knew we were in trouble. I knew that, so I immediately pulled the app back up. I'm looking at flights leaving out of San Diego for Tucson, and there was only 2 more flights. And by the time we were up in the air, the wife and I knew we were not going to land in San Diego in time to come home. So we land in San Diego. The decision was made to pull our bags off of that plane, rent a car, rent a hotel, crash out, get up in the morning, because we had to be back in Tucson by 3 o'clock in the afternoon for an event with my best friend, and there were no flights out of San Diego. We had already had enough of the airport disaster for the day, so we decided just to drive home. So about 2-ish on Saturday afternoon is when I finally got home from Vegas, when I was supposed to have departed. I was supposed to have arrived Friday evening. So instead we got home late Saturday afternoon. But we got back in time for our event. We had a wonderful time. And then we were both just exhausted. So yesterday, I don't think either one of us got off the couch for more than a couple of minutes. And anyway, so that's my wonderful story on getting back from Vegas. It is my prayer that all of my delegation got back better than I did. Obviously, I got back in one piece, so I'll take that any day of the week. But hopefully you guys had a smoother flight than we did. I know the delegation, part of my Lodge 1 delegation, left on a flight that was supposedly an hour later than ours. It was a direct flight, Vegas to Tucson. They took off somewhere around the same time we did, a little bit before us actually, I think, and they did land in Tucson. So hopefully everyone else had similar experiences and got home okay. Having said that, again, I'm going to close out with thank you again for the honor of serving as your state president and your national trustee. Look forward to the video next weekend. That one will be a long video because I'm going to go pretty in depth. We'll talk about the amendments. We'll talk about the resolutions that were passed on the floor. We'll talk about some other stuff that happened that I think is important for you to know about. But then again, you're also going to have to pay attention to the written report that will come out. Hopefully I get that done in time to send it this weekend, because that one's going to talk about some of the stuff that I'm just not going to put out there publicly. So remember, our YouTube videos are public, and I don't need the general public hearing about some of the things that took place at conference. So until then, I wish everybody the best of health, and stay safe, and don't dislocate your shoulder twice. It's a terrible idea. It hurts really bad. Please don't do it. I promise I'm never going to do it again, because no. With that, I will see you guys next week as your national trustee. I don't know. Maybe I'll switch faces. I'll do some weird TikTok filter. I don't know. I'll have to ask my wife. I don't know how to do that stuff. Anyway, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I got to go to the doctor and hopefully get good news on this shoulder. So, with that, I'll see you guys this weekend for the National Trustees Report. And until then, stay safe and stay FOP strong. Thanks.